Death means something different to everyone. But when you've crossed that line, when your heart stops, when you slip beyond this world and come back again, death is no longer an idea. It becomes something personal, something known. Tonight, psychic medium, paranormal investigator, adventurer, and now musician Chris Fleming joins us to talk about the strange road his life has taken, from childhood encounters with the unexplained to standing at the threshold of death itself and returning forever changed. What did he see? What came back with him? And how do you keep living after dying? We'll confront those questions and more. I'm your host, and this is a Paranormal 60.
I'm not gonna stand here and listen to this baloney.
You won't know. He doesn't stand for baloney.
Sounds like a lot of supernatural baloney to me.
Supernatural, perhaps. Baloney, perhaps not.
In the darkness between life and death, some people hear music. From paranormal investigator, psychic medium, and experiencer Chris Fleming comes Boogeyman Blues, the haunting debut album from 515 Collective. Written during Chris's brutal battle with cancer, chemotherapy, and recovery, these songs were born from sleepless nights, pain, fear, and most importantly, survival. Blending blues, roots rock, soul, gospel, trance blues, and cinematic storytelling, Boogeyman Blues pulls listeners into a world filled with spirits, memories, ghosts, loss, healing, and the things that never truly leave us behind. These aren't just songs. They're stories from the edge, real encounters, real pain, real transformation. 21 tracks forged from over 100 deeply personal pieces written during the darkest chapter of Chris's life. Boogeyman Blues from 515 Collective is available now for pre-order on CD, limited edition colored vinyl, digital download, and streaming soon through Amazon and iTunes. You can visit ChristopherFleming.com and step into the music born from the other side. There's a link for that on today's program description. Joining me now live on the show, Chris Fleming.
Hello, my friend. How are you?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm not dead yet.
Well, that's good. That's good. I mean, it's, I named the episode The Day Chris Fleming Died for a reason.
I saw that.
Obviously, we did
Not yet. I did not die yet.
We did a pretty in-depth interview when you had your cancer diagnosis and talked on our program about what it meant, what was going on, and how prayer and people coming together and your positive attitude helped flip a lot of things around.
Absolutely.
And I mean, like radically, very fast in some instances. At the one point when we were at Michigan Paracon a year and a half, 2 years ago, you were telling me that they were giving you days. And
yeah, they gave me basically 2 weeks. Yeah.
2 weeks. Unbelievable. We did a guided prayer with around 1,500 people. And it was shortly after then you reached out to me and you're like, yeah, man, the cancer flipped from this aggressive, like almost unbeatable form of cancer into a form of leukemia we can treat. And it was just
4 days later from you guys praying. Yeah. 4 days later.
Unbelievable and exciting to think that somebody is listening. Something happens, and when people come together in a place of good, I think it matters. And that was really amazing to see that. Now you're on the other side of this, but life has continued to throw you some curveballs and some strange things. But you, throughout it, have kept yourself busy creating art, creating music, and making sure that the time that you do have on this planet, however short or long it may be, you're getting all of the creative juice out of it that you possibly can.
Absolutely. You know, and it comes down to something very simple. Several years ago during one of my readings for a client, you know, we were asking one of the guides, you know, like, what is the purpose? She goes, I just want to know, what is our real purpose, why we're here, you know? And I go, well, everybody has a path and destiny, but in this particular present moment, let me ask your guide. And basically, this guide said, and he was saying this to me, but also to the person I was doing the session for. He goes, if I was to put it in the most simplistic terms, he goes, you're here for three things. And that's to create, express, and contribute. Now, behind that, you do that with intent and with love. Because this person was getting very frustrated and very distraught and overcomplicating things. So this guide brought it through to make it very simple. Well, that struck me just as well. You're here to create, express, and contribute. And I found in my life during times of trauma, during of emotional pain, with a breakup, you like this girl, she likes you. She does a complete, 360, and then all of a sudden, I'm going to end it. I don't want to be with you anymore. What? Just a week ago, you're telling me you want to have kids, and, I'm just like, what? So I realized from doing the wrong things, of getting angry and breaking things growing up in high school, college, whatever, is that there's got to be another way to handle this. And I learned to be creative, to put that into creativity, whether it's artwork. And so back then I would do paintings and drawings. I would put it into like Beautiful Death of Feelings that I've sold many prints of, with a simple guy standing there, Tim Burton style, with the shadow of a coffin and a rose grows out of it. Meaning that with the death of this, there can be something new that springs from it if you put your attention towards that seed and you creatively express yourself and contribute to it, it'll turn into something else. So I realized no matter what I'm dealing with, okay, what can I do? And I learned that from other people I know that are psychologists and stuff when we'd have these in-depth conversations is, okay, you lose this, you lose this, you lose this, you can't do that anymore. What can you do? Look at Stephen Hawking. Paralyzed, everything. So he says, well, I still got my brain, so I'm going to use my brain. I need to learn to be able to speak. So he would speak and it would be on a computer. And from there, he was able to combine the computer and his own brain and to be able to write books and to do other stuff. So he still created, expressed, and contributed. So when we look at that, we look at that person as an example, we look at other people as an example in my own experience. I said, okay, I can't do anything. And you even said to me, Dave, you said, why don't you write your book? Dude, no, I can't. Even for me to do a chat, I just can't. But I found when my cat died, while I was in the hospital first half of the week in Noir, and I've done everything to save him, more or less, I was just completely devastated. I said, all right, well, I got to express this when I don't have my materials to paint or draw. So I just started messing with Udio and some other programs to write. So I'm going to write a song. So I wrote these lyrics out over 2 days and produced it through that. And I created a song. And from there, it brought a way to express myself, and it brought some type of healing, which was really weird. So from then, I just started writing lyrics, titles, and just kept going and going and going. And I found peace in that, man. I mean, 3, 4 in the morning, laying on my head's hurting. I got blisters all over me. I can't eat anything because I can't swallow. And I said, all right, I got to take my mind off this. I'm going to write, never give up. So I wrote a song, Never Give Up. I'm not dead yet. And it just kept going. And, after 100 songs, my buddy's like, dude, what are you going to do with all this? Now, this guy played, Johnny Rico, he played for Warrior Soul. Okay, he has 6 records. He played with 9 Inch Nails, all these bands. And he says, oh, you should make an album. And I said, oh, that's a good idea. He goes, I was kidding. I said, no, that's a good idea. So here I am. Album's coming out June 12th. So I turned it into something else. And that's the thing I've learned in football, get an injury. We're in a big game, and I'm moving the ball. We're going down to the end zone. I'm just about the end zone, and their defensive guy does a terrible play and grabs my leg and twists it, and it blows out my knee. That does it on purpose because we were moving against them. And here's my career as a running back in college, and the guy did this on purpose. What do I do now? So I realized I had to take my brain off of what I can't do and do something. And this is a perfect example. I wrote music.
Do you think now, with the hindsight being 2020 and the skills that you've honed through the years, when you look back at that, I know for many years there was deep regret and sadness because that ended a career in something you loved to do, something you were great at doing. Do you see now that there was another path, and even though it felt like you were losing something, you were being opened up to something much larger?
Yeah, what people don't know is I went in the studio in 2014 to Pittsburgh, and the guy that was producing this song for us, this demo with me and Johnny Rico, Johnny played the music, Rob Diener played the music, and Rob had produced for Billy Idol. We went in there with the hopes that this song, this demo we were making, I was going to get this show, Ghost Country, with CMT. They wanted a show. We shot like a mini pilot. This was going to be the theme song. And then the show, last minute, they decided to go a different way with party type shows instead of something serious. And we're like, Oh my God. And we had plans to do a 5-song EP. And I was recruiting these other amazing vocalists, these women singers. We wrote songs, Children of Heaven and stuff, Chains. And then it just kind of fell apart. And I was really disappointed because it was something I always wanted to do. And just, Johnny's too busy, everybody, and getting the money, just couldn't do it. So now with today's technology, hey, I can still write lyrics and titles and I can just create something for myself. And that's what I was doing. I was doing it for myself. Just say, oh, I made this cool song. And I played some of it when I was in the hospital for people, and I played
But
it when I was in
I'm
home
taking you
recovery.
back to when you were in high school and blew out your knee.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Well,
it got
high
injured.
school,
I mean, that's a lifetime
college,
of regret, or
college,
college rather. Sorry,
yeah.
college. That's something that can really sink somebody. But your
That happened
life has
twice, Dave. It
gone in a
happens.
pretty impressive way, even though you dealt with that. Do you think
Yeah.
that was always, I hate to say the plan, because that sounds like complete and utter rubbish. Oh, it was God's plan to blow
There
out
was
your
one
knee.
failure after another.
Yeah.
It was a one failure after another. And even out of college, I played in the men's league. We had a championship. We were undefeated. And we had 3 games left, and we went to the championship. Well, the second or third to last game, I blew out my other knee. And I was done, PCL. And I couldn't play in the championship. And I put this team together. And now I couldn't even play in a championship game. So to have this one after, and then even, Help My House is Haunted, COVID came. And they're like, we can't bring you out here. We got to replace you. And it's just heartbreaking because that was like one of my most passionate shows that I've ever been involved with next to Psychic Kids. And it's just one after the other. And I was sinking into this depression, big depression. And after Help, I was just like, all right, I can't handle this anymore. And I was getting sicker and sicker, not knowing that I had cancer since 2017. So it's like I was getting sicker and more depressed. There was a part of me saying, you know what, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. And then they're like, I give up. My doctors don't know what's wrong with me, and then Haunted Scotland, Haunted Ireland, and then that's not going to come back. And then I'm just like, I'm ready to check out. And then I get the diagnosis, MDS, and you've only got 6 months because you're late term. And then I go to Northwestern with the diagnosis and like, there's something else going on. We need to get a bone marrow biopsy. They get the biopsy and like, it's now 70% and it evolved into aggressive leukemia. You've got 2 weeks left. You went from 5% to 70% and it's going to be at 100% in 2 weeks and you'll be gone. And I'm like, wow, I was wanting to check out and now I'm going to check out. Do I really want that? I'm like, and you and I talked, Susan talked, and then when I saw the prayers and everything coming in, I mean, I was at the point like, well, this is the end, the doors. And I'm just like, this is it. I'm just going to be in the present moment and, that's it. I'm just going to haunt everybody. Right. And then just sitting there and reading everybody's prayers, I'm like, I'm going to get emotional. It's like, I can't give up. People are like, oh, I mean something to you. This, and I'm thinking about the bridge when I had the near death at the bridge. And I'm like, you know what, God, this can't be it. I can't go out this way. I didn't see my life going out this way. You and I know how I'm supposed to go out. It's not this way. So I'm like, there's got to be something else. So I started having conversations, even though I didn't hear anything back. I said, I know you're listening. I said, we could do this. We could do that. We could do this. We could help people with if I beat this cancer because I'm not supposed to. They even said, Dave, and this is very important. They said, we're going to do whatever we can to stop the spread. Now, as a counselor, I'm looking at their faces. I'm like, wow, they won't even look at me because they're sad, because they know I'm not going to make it, but they don't know I have friends, okay, in here and there. And I'm watching them going, I had empathy for them because I'm like, oh my God, they're afraid to tell me. So I said, all right, let's just say you can stop the spread. Well, we're going to do the best we can. I said, all right, let's say you stop the spread. How much time do I got? They look at each other. They said, maybe 2 months. I go, 2 months. Another doctor says, well, could be 3, possibly 6, but because of the way your body is and stopping it, it's there. Everything else will eventually shut down and you've got like 2 months. So I'm like, what's the point? They're like, we have to try. I said, yeah, you're right. You know what, you guys, I don't even want to know that. You do what you got to do. I'll do what I got to do. I know people. That's what I said. I act like a mobster. I know people, man. Don't worry, but I was serious. And honest to God truth, those are the exact words. My buddy Brad was there when they said it was, you're going to go. I took last rites, with Father Mike, who did the demon house, and Father Robert. They came in to see me and I did confession and they said, do you want to even confess? I'm like, oh, geez, I don't want to tell them my confession.
Did they have 2 weeks to listen all of that?
I'll keep that between God and I. Right. But I was.
Wait, I want to take you back for a second because there's something I found interesting in a statement you made, and I hope our listeners caught it.
Yes.
You talked, it was one failure after another.
Yeah, but I kept going.
Isn't that an interesting perspective? Because from the outside looking in, I see a guy who has lived many lives in one lifetime, from modeling to sports to
I just did
meeting
runway.
that's still modeling, to meeting your musical heroes, to being on multiple shows. And though those shows may not have gone on, you got to do and see and be a part of something that continued to open doors for you. I mean, when we look at your resume, I've always joked about it, right? From going from Dead Famous to Ghost Adventures, Ghost Hunters, Paranormal State, the Psychic Kids program, to Help My House is Haunted, to Haunted Scotland, Haunted Ireland. Everything has come to another point, each step taking you somewhere else. Every time that you're looking at a failure, somebody's seeing a success because they're like, we want this guy to be a part of our project. Even on Curse of Lizzie Borden, that I was able to
a week before, filming.
Yeah, bring you in for doing that a week beforehand because of who you are. So I do hope that you start to readjust that word in your head too, that these moments were not failure moments. They were the twist of the screw moments. And instead of failing, instead of collapsing like many people might have, you just found a new diversion. You found a new route to take and continue on. And the most important thing to me is that then when you were faced with the ultimate, oh shit, and it came to cancer, and your brain is already in this mode prior to it of maybe my time is done, maybe my song is over, it suddenly shook you awake and made you realize, hey dude, this is what it feels like to have your song come to an end. But I'm going to put a couple more quarters in the jukebox. I think you got more in you. So even in those moments of collapse, you've stood back up, dusted yourself off, dealt with shit that many of us would have a really hard time holding and maintaining that strength through. So I hope you'll look at the fact that you're not a failure. None of what you've done has been a failure. Each one is just a different stepping stone on a path and a career that has helped thousands of people around the world. And I might go as high as hundreds of thousands, perhaps even millions of people from watching your shows, getting the inspiration, realizing they're not alone in what they do, being connected to people and the thousands of readings you've done and everything, man. That is something profound. There is a reason Chris Fleming's knees went out and he was humbled and put into a different position. And every time you get humbled, you just stand back up and keep moving and create something new. And here you are on the other side of cancer, on the other side of what you've been dealing with. And instead of somebody who's broken and feeble and has given up, and I'm no slight on those that are dealing with this and are in that state.
Absolutely.
You are still creating, and it's giving people, and I'm hoping people that are watching this that may be dealing with their own issues at this moment, clarity that having a goal, keeping moving, keeping creating, keeping the brain going instead of settling and wallowing. And you allow yourself that. You turn that wallowing into facing your demons, facing your scares, and writing 100 songs, dude. That's amazing.
Yeah, I didn't go anywhere. I was sitting on the couch, so I did.
But a lot of people check out. You could have been doom scrolling, watching TikTok, foot fetish videos. I don't know what you're into, Chris.
No,
I'm just saying you could have done that, but instead,
camera, like your shirt.
Yeah,
nice shirt.
You stood up. Thank you. My buddy gave it to me.
Yeah,
you stood up and you created, and I hope that this inspires other people to realize that no matter how dark it gets, there's something worth fighting for.
I've listened to everything you said, and so maybe I didn't put it perfectly in perspective, and I'm seeing that I need to. Is that when I say failure, okay, I'm not talking about, I failed at this. No, I know I took a team to a championship, and even though I didn't get to play, and I can go on and inspired and this and that. And, and I helped start and shape a show that became very successful. The notes that I would give the directors and producers and Help My House is Haunted. That the failure is, we go back to my 2010 experience when I was at the bridge, when I died. I stopped breathing. And we now know that the breathing was because of my neck and everything, but I deal with worse is hypoxia and apnea. I have a hard time breathing. So, and that's because of the brain from the TBI car accident I had down. But now the cytarabine's made it worse to where I'm struggling with breath. So I deal with this condition to where my brain doctor at Northwestern is now concerned that I'll have either a stroke or a heart attack because of what's going on with the brain. So that's my next challenge. But that's why it's important for me to get this music out and do what I can to leave something behind. But when we talk about failure, my failure was not that, oh, I didn't get to this, and this. My failure is that I made an agreement at the bridge. I made an agreement that I would go back and I would reach and meet all these people and help these people. So when I was doing Help My House is Haunted and I'm going to these houses, for me, it wasn't doing a TV show. For me, it was the opportunity, a child that grew up that was terrified, that is no longer terrified, that has this vast 50 plus years of experience dealing with this stuff and communicating with them, not just someone that's gone through it as a counselor for 20 years, professionally doing this, helping people, but also someone that grew up in their shoes. I can relate to them more than anyone. So it was a goal and a purpose, a divine purpose for myself in this life to go to these places to help the people and help the spirits there. Now that I can't do that, what's left for me to do? Because that's one of the reasons I came back to do this, and now that's cut off. So for me, I was devastated that you took away the whole one thing of my purpose of being here. So for me, it was really tough because I know it was something that I was capable of doing, like the men on the moon go, and not everybody gets to do. I can do this more than most people because I've been through it myself. So for me, that was so hard, right? So when I'm laying in the hospital at Northwestern in that August and September, I'm looking up at the ceiling and I'm like, all right, God, what now? I may be gone in a week or two. I may not make this, what about the bridge? What about this? What about that? And that's when I hear the voice. And I had not heard the voice since I had gone in there, except I saw death that very day. And my buddy Brad saw it too, come out of the wall, and then it ran away. I'm like, okay, so I had a couple paranormal experiences, but I don't feel my guides. I don't hear my angels talk, nothing. I said, all right, so I'm on my own. That's fine. I can handle this. There's a reason for it. Then this voice comes. All this silence since I got there, and then there's this voice. And the voice says, if you could do anything that you were not able to complete and that you wanted to do, what would it be? And I said, I want to be a superhero. I want to go. They're like, no. The voice is like something that you actually have the ability and talent that you have tried but was never able to fulfill. So quickly in my head I go, well, I never wrote the book. Well, that's okay. I didn't marry kids. Music, just music. I said I never got to complete that album. I would love to create music for people to listen to and enjoy. And then there was no response. The response was gone. And I'm like, hello? And it's so funny. I'm saying this, I'm on my back looking at the ceiling, and I'm on the 15th floor in Northwest that looks over Chicago and the lake. And I'm like, hello? And then all of a sudden a nurse comes in. Yeah, I go, no, I was talking to the ceiling. Just, it's okay. She goes, do you need anything? No. And she leaves. And I'm like, you're leaving me hanging. And I'm talking out loud. Please understand, I've done this many times in my life. Even when the producer's like, are you talking to someone? I go, yeah, I'm talking to my guys. I just do that. And I go, you're leaving me hanging. I go, so no, I guess that's a big request. Okay, I got it. And I'll lay back here. I don't want anything then. And there was nothing. And then a couple of days later, my sister's in town. I'm watching the videos of Noir, and I see something's wrong, and he's got E. coli infection. And unfortunately,
your cat Noir.
Yeah, he had Noir.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he had the pacemaker, they can't put him under anesthesia to do it because he's got a pacemaker, and because he's near kidney failure anyway, they can't give him antibiotics, and there's no one there to do it daily. I have a sitter coming once a day for like 10 minutes. I had to put him down. I had no choice. And he had already lost like 4 more pounds. So it was like he's down to 6 pounds and he used to be 22. So I'm like, oh, and I'm going to be here another 3.5, 4 weeks. I'm like, oh my God, I got to put him down. So I put him down, and that's when it started. I said, I got to write this song. I got to create, express, and contribute. That's what they told me while we're here. I wrote the song, Will I Ever Hold Your Paw Again? And I've rewritten it since, which I will release. And that started it. But the one thing I want to say, and you see, that's Noir. I put Noir in the cover. I put him at the bottom there I did this album for him. So
well, let's do this. Let's take a quick break. We're going to listen to the first cut that Chris is sharing with us from his new album, 515 Collective, Boogeyman Blues. Here we go. I hope you enjoy it.
I was just a little kid sitting on that creaky bed. Night was quiet, moon was low, cold shadows everywhere. Then his ghost walked through the hall, shadow figure tall, hat in hand, face full of sorrow from some long forgotten tale. Good old Henry. He said his name was Henry, from the docks of Boston town. Ran ships of spice and timber, for the sickness struck him down. Lost his wife and baby children, Lord, it tore his soul apart. Said he drifted in the shadows, holding tight a broken heart. Good old Henry, good old Henry. Oh, Henry, Henry, you came to me so kind. A friend from faded centuries, trying to ease my worried mind. Good old Henry, you warned me about the evil dark creeping close around my room. Good old Henry, but I was young and didn't know till the bad ones came through. We talked through that Ouija, neath the moon's dull light. Told me heaven called him higher, said he couldn't stay and fight. Said he'd heard a holy whisper telling him to warm my soul. But when the little devil circled around me, he had to let me go. Good old Henry, good old Henry. Oh, Henry, Henry, I still remember you. Your voice was like a heartbeat in the wind that carried through. Good old Henry, you say you reached the heavens, where your wife and babies be. Good old Henry, and somewhere in the spirit winds, you still say hi to me. Thank you, Henry, for the warning when the dark came through my walls. Even after all these years now, I still hear your spirit call. Good old Henry, good old Henry, my ghostly friend from a long time ago. Good old Henry, good old Henry. Good old Henry, good old Henry. Good old Henry.
The album officially releases June 12th. You can pre-order. We do have a link for it on today's program show guide. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back. We've got more to share with Chris Fleming, our guest, right here on the Paranormal 60. Are you ready to step beyond the veil? June 11th through the 13th, something extraordinary is happening. Break On Through, a 3-day paranormal experience hosted by me, Dave Schrader, at the historic and haunted Palmer House Hotel in Sauk Center, Minnesota. I'm bringing together some of the most respected psychic mediums and paranormal minds for a weekend that explores the unexplained. Featuring special guest psychic mediums Chris Fleming, Diet Renee, and Sarah Lemos. This immersive event goes far beyond lectures. Dive into fascinating classes, presentations, take part in hands-on experiments, experience powerful live gallery readings, and join real paranormal investigations. So whether you're searching for answers, curious about the unknown, or hoping to connect with something beyond this world, this weekend is designed to open doors you never knew existed. 3 days, incredible guests, paranormal exploration, and more fun than should legally be allowed. Space is limited, so reserve your spot now. Visit darknessevents.com for details and tickets. That's darknessevents.com. Come explore the unknown and break on through. Welcome back to the program. I'm Dave Schrader. This is Chris Fleming. And I think you saw, Chris, by the response of the audience listening live to the music. They loved it. Great song.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Yes, it is based on a true story. It's about Henry, a ghost that I saw in the hallway and would come to me, and I would speak to him on the Ouija board. And I learned a lot from him. And he told me his story. He was around in the late 1800s. He owned an import-export company in Boston. And he would have everything delivered to all the stores and stuff like that. And then his family got sick from some type of plague or illness. And he was really upset at God and everything what happened. Lost them, and then he succumbed to it, and he died too. And then he went into the void, darkness, and they said he heard my voice. And he was called down, and he appeared to me and then started talking to me. He taught me a lot about the spirit world. He started warning me about the darkness and the imps and creatures. And then when they came, he had to leave. And he went to the other side, and he was reacquainted with his family. Now, years ago at one of your events, I think it was Eastern State, or it might have been Stanley, I brought up his name, or I was bringing up questions about the place, and then all of a sudden they said, Henry says hello. And I'm like, oh my God. So there's been a couple times when I've asked about him, and they said he's happy and everything. So it's from my childhood. So I wrote this song. So when I did this album, I was picking and choosing stuff, and I still am. I just wrote another song this morning of things that I've gone through or experienced with individuals to tell stories. And this story is about him, in respect to him. It's my respect to him, taking from his life as a spirit to come, be a ghost that I wasn't afraid of, and to teach me that there are good ghosts, good spirits, which he was, and then there's bad ones too. So,
well, and no pressure. I'm just waiting for the good old Dave song. But you get
actually,
to it when you get a chance. You get to it when you get a chance.
It's been on my mind.
Excellent. I don't want to brag, Chris, but I am part of a rap album already. Nick Groff released a rap album years ago, and
I remember he hugged me and sang to me at Scarefest. Yeah, I remember.
Good times. You have obviously faced the specter of death on many different levels. As somebody that communicates with it, communicates with those that have crossed over, you've faced it yourself. Is it hard once you've tasted that nectar of the next life to come back and continue to swallow the bitterness of our reality and world right now?
Like they told me years ago, it would have been about 2011, 12, when I had another out of body experience, and I was on the other side, and I was in a beautiful place, and they sent me back, and I was breathing, and I was upset because of the pain I was dealing with from my neck. And they said, life is just temporary. Just enjoy and squeeze out it whatever you can, because this is always going to be waiting for you. It's always going to be here, no matter what. So when I'm in the hospital, I'm going through the cancer and everything, I said, there's still some things I'd like to do. And then the music, I start doing the music. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. I told my mom, this is all I want to do. I just want to do the music. And that's all I'm doing, because that's all I could do, because I was sleeping 16 hours and I was so tired. So I can sit there on my phone, or I can write with a piece of paper, and I can write little quotes and stuff and put them all together as a song. That's all I did. That's all I wanted to do. And because that's the only energy I had to do, but I enjoyed it because I got quick outcomes when I would hear it back. So that was that. But I'm kind of losing it. The one thing I want to share, though, is that I had a test. On March 25th, I went back to get this March 25th, went back to Northwestern. My buddy Brad dropped me off after I got off the train, and I was having my 12th bone marrow biopsy. And bone marrow biopsies aren't pleasant. Like my friend that died a year ago from cancer, same cancer I had, Dan Olson. He hated them. I said, no, they're not that bad. I've had worse pain from sports. Well, this 12th one was the worst I ever had. And I was dreaded a week before. Even that morning, something says, don't go. And I started getting emotional when I walked in the building. Why am I crying? I'm just getting a bone marrow biopsy. Well, what happened during the bone marrow biopsy was it was painful. And I yelled out to the doctor when she was doing it. I said, oh my God, this is what they're talking about, being so painful. This is the most painful thing. And I started to pass out. And I'm like, no, I don't pass out. I could tolerate pain. So I tried to revert myself when my brain depleted of blood and oxygen. So I had what's called a vasovagal syncope with a hyperfusion brain thing with altered consciousness. So then when they were bringing me back, I thought it was 1978 because I was seeing multiple memories at once. And I was seeing my life playing in front of me, but I was going back to the 70s because I had such great memories in the 70s. But I also had some of the most amazing supernatural experiences with ghosts in the 70s. So I kept going back to the 70s and I'm looking at these like, who are you? And wait a minute, I'm an adult, but yet I have the mind of a child. So it was really weird. And then I started going under, but there was no anesthesia, but I felt like I was going under with anesthesia when I've had previous. I go, I just want to go to sleep. Just let me go. And like, no, you can't. So they're hitting my chest to try to keep me alive because as I was doing that, my oxygen was depleting and I was going to be gone. But I just felt this peace, like, no, it's just so peaceful. I just want to go. And they're like, no. And then they bring me back. And then all of a sudden we're in an emergency room with all these different, the room was filled. They got equipment, everything. They're all running tests, screaming, yelling at each other. And they're like, wait, he's looking, he's awake again. And they're like, stay with us, stay with us. And I'm like, and then all of a sudden, boom, this tunnel opens. Now this is March 25th. Okay. I see my dad. I'm like, Dad, what? And there's people behind him. I see my grandma and some other people that I didn't recognize, but he comes out of a black void. Okay. Now, black void, I know from my own experiences mean that it's not set in stone. It's just a period where you can make a choice and a possibility, and you can go off in that possibility, or you can alter it and go somewhere else. And I noticed that about the void behind him. I said, Dad, no, what are you doing here? I said, Dad, this is the 12th. He goes, son, if you want to come with us now, you can. And I said, no. I said, Dad, listen, I love you and everything, but this is just a bone marrow biopsy. I go, I'm not going to die from this. This makes no sense. No, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. And the doctors look at me, they run a blood test, make sure he's not on drugs or this. He's hallucinating. I'm like, I'm not hallucinating. I'm talking to the doctor. And I'm looking back at my dad. Did they think I'm being hallucinating? And I said, no, Dad, I don't want to go. I said, I love you. And I'm crying. And they're like, why are you crying? I said, the nurses, why are you crying? I said, be crying because I would love to go, but I can't go. I said, Dad, the bridge, I still got stuff to do. And then it closes up. But as they were doing that, they were taking me to get a brain. You gotta get a brain scan, because he's having these images. And the tunnel's following me as I'm going to get the scan. And then the nurse says, she goes, no, you tell your dad you're not going. And I look at her, I don't want to go. She goes, well, tell me you don't want to go. And I said, Dad, I'm not going. And she goes, we're not going to lose you. The nurse, I said, see, Dad, I can't go. And he says, all right, son. And he waves, and then it closes up. Then I'm getting the brain scan, and I'm still kind of slowly starting to go out it. And I said, no. And they kept hitting my chest, which causes pain and brings you back. Then I'm back in the room with the doctors, and then I see all these angels. And I'm looking at all these angels. I'm like, oh, come on. I'm like, guys, I don't want to go, please. I said, why are you here? This is not anything big spiritual or anything. It's just a biopsy. You don't need to be here because there's other important things going on in the world. And then I started looking at them. They're like, what are you seeing? And another nurse I go see all these angels. And the doctor says, you see angels? What do they look like? I said, well, they got dishwater blonde hair. Okay, these angels, they're not like archangels. They got the white pearlescence robes, and they got like the golden face. But every one of them is in different positions. And I go, wait a minute, they're all looking at, and then I noticed they're all looking at everybody in the room, not me. They were there because all the doctors and nurses are saying prayers inside their consciousness. We got to save this. Please, God, we got to save this. Help us save this. Because they're doing that, all these angels showed up. All the angels were there for them. And I'm like, oh my God, you're not here for me, you're for them. Then why am I seeing this? And then I said, you guys are all leaning over. Where are you? So I wanted to know what's behind them. And all of a sudden my consciousness is automatically behind them. I turn and look, and I see their backs, and then I see the white void. And in the white void, I see thousands and thousands of angels that are all lined up. Now, these are archangels. They got armor, they got swords and shields, but they're lined up like the military, like you see in North Korea or China, like they're marching, but these aren't marching. They're all stationary. And they're on an angle. And I'm like, what are you guys all doing? You're gathering together? And I look to the left and I see Earth. And I'm like, oh no. I think I know what that means. And then boom, I'm back in my body. And they're like, okay, he's with us, And I said, angels, then they leave. Then next thing you know, I'm in recovery. And I'm like, whoa, like I got like a concussion, dude. My head hurts so bad. They hand me my phone. I'm looking at my phone. They go, do you know what year it is? I go, yeah, it's 2026. Well, you were saying it was 78. I said, I know. And I'm like, wait a minute, we got phones now? Oh, yeah, we do have phones. Oh, God, why do I feel my mind is back in the 70s when we didn't have phones? So I actually documented, I took my phone, I go, I got to document this. And I filmed myself in the hospital in recovery, slurring a little bit, but saying, this is what happened. I got to document this. And I put it down. So it came to the conclusion that the angels were there. They're watching what's going on Earth right now, and they're preparing themselves for a coming war. If there's going to be a war, which they're all lined up ready for it, they're ready to go to battle. Now, the battle is them fighting evil, but then the battle is also them to take souls home that die from the war. So I'm praying we don't go into a World War III, but they're all lined up for it, is what I'm saying.
Wow. That had to be powerful too, to be in there and then realize that there are all of these angels looking in different directions and realizing that you were basically given the gift of seeing the spirits that are assigned or helping each one of us. You were kind of watching that angelic
Correct
gathering. And is that around us all the time? Because there are days I wonder where my angel's at. I think
I know, right?
Eating a bologna sandwich out on the deck.
I go back to an experience, and I've talked about this probably on my podcast and a couple of times in lectures, is when I had that demonic encounter, which would have been, I think it was January 2011, if I remember correctly. And the thing was holding me down, and the girl from the time went and got holy water throwing on it. And all of a sudden the angels came down and the lights are on. I said, oh, wow, you do this for me? And the angels go, no, we do this for everybody. And I felt so humble, like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean that. I'm not special, but they're saying that, no, we do this for everyone that calls upon us. The thing is that not everybody gets to see them, because we see 10% of visual spectrum. We're not seeing into the astral or the spiritual plane. I've had in and out of those planes, so I'm able to see a little bit into them, so I'm seeing them. But at first, I'm like, oh, you guys are here why are you guys here for me? But I realized they're not looking at me. They're looking at me. Oh my God, they're here for them. So yes, everybody has. So when we're saying those prayers, there's an angel that's watching us and everything. Sometimes they can respond, relay messages, and sometimes they can't. It's just the way it is. So that helped me. But here's the kicker, which I didn't realize till a couple of days later. When I first walked into the hospital at Northwestern, Brad dropped me off. I walked through the door and I'm all emotional. I'm crying. I see this woman in a wheelchair. And I've always had this thing with the universe that if you want me to walk up to somebody, I'll walk up to somebody, a stranger, whatever you need. And I see her in the wheelchair and I get this sense as a sensitive, as a psychic, she's terrified. So I walk up to her, I go, why are you so afraid? She's like, oh, hi, I'm getting released today. I said, well, congratulations. She was like, no, I've been here for 3 months. I'm afraid to go home. I go, why are you afraid to go home? She was like, because I don't have any doctors around me and I don't know what's going to happen. I said, well, do you have anybody watching you? She goes, yeah, my son. I said, then you're going to be fine. Is he good? He goes, yeah, he's great. I said, you got this. You can do this. She goes, oh, I don't know. I'm so worried. I go, listen, just call upon your angels and everything. She goes, yeah, angels? I said, trust me. Angels are real. Just call upon them. They'll be there to protect you. I go, listen, I went through cancer. Okay. I was supposed to die. I was home alone all the time, 16, 18 hours. I had no energy just to go get a glass of water, but I had to do it. You've got your son and you're okay. You don't have a terminal. Do you have cancer? She goes, no, it's just some surgery I had and everything, but it went wrong and I'm a little better now and you're going to be fine. Just call upon you. She goes, wow, thank you so much. And, I tap her on the shoulder. I walk away. I said, okay, I feel good, right? I'm not so emotional, upset walking in. Then I realized I said that to her. And then I see all the angels later with all the other people, which I believe was a sign for me, confirmation that you're right. We are there. Like you said to that woman earlier in the wheelchair.
God, I thought you were going to say, and then you turned around and she wasn't there.
No.
Very Twilight Zone ending. We have to take our final break. We'll come back. We'll talk a little bit more about this with Chris Fleming. If any of you out there are wishing, boy, how do I, I'd love to meet with Chris. I'd love to hear his insights. I'd love to learn some of these things. We've got a couple of cool items coming up, a couple of cool events, and Chris is going to be a part of one of those. Stay tuned for a little bit of information about that in just a few minutes. Are you ready to step beyond the veil? June 11th through the 13th, something extraordinary is happening. Break on through, a 3-day paranormal experience hosted by me, Dave Schrader, at the historic and haunted Palmer House Hotel in Sauk Center, Minnesota. I'm bringing together some of the most respected psychic mediums and paranormal minds for a weekend that explores the unexplained, featuring special guest psychic mediums Chris Fleming, Diet Renee, and Sarah Lemos. This immersive event goes far beyond lectures. Dive into fascinating classes, presentations, take part in hands-on experiments, experience powerful live gallery readings, and join real paranormal investigations. So whether you're searching for answers, curious about the unknown, or hoping to connect with something beyond this world, this weekend is designed to open doors you never knew existed. 3 days, incredible guests, paranormal exploration, and more fun than should legally be allowed. Space is limited, so reserve your spot now. Visit darknessevents.com for details and tickets. That's darknessevents.com. Come explore the unknown and break on through. I'm really excited to be a part of this project that's coming up, and I'm excited to be sharing it with Chris, Diet Renee, and Sarah Lemos coming up here in June. This is going to be a great opportunity for you to come in, hear from them, get a chance to meet and greet and meet the spirits of the Palmer House Hotel. Chris, it's been a long time.
I was going to ask you that. When was the last time I was there?
17 years ago. Yeah.
That was 10 years.
No, dude, 10 years. Look, COVID was what, 5-6 years ago already. It's
oh my God, you're right.
Yeah. So, it
awesome.
was 17 years ago that we did the Palmer House the first time, and it's been way too long. I'm glad that you're coming back. And I think it's the first event or first bigger event that you're going to be a part of with me since your cancer diagnosis and beating it. So
that's great. I'm looking forward to it.
You get these,
and that's actually my release weekend too. I didn't plan that way, but it's on the 12th. So yeah, of course you did.
How does it feel? I mean, when you see the signs that the angels are lining up in defense and to start helping those that go to cross over, do you ever look back and go, maybe I should have just gone? Maybe in March.
Yeah, that's why my dad showed up. If you want to go now, and I wrote a song a week after that. Said I don't want to go. Even if there's a war, I wrote that into the song. I said, no, I've got to be here because I'm going to die one day anyway. If I can stay longer, and like I said, I mean, I've got my cats. I can't leave my cat. My mom, she's still sick. I got to be there for her transition. I still have people in the music and the projects that it would be considered another failure to me that if I go and it never gets out there, I can't do that, Dad. I have to stay.
And you got to be here for the day the stairs finally take me out once and for all.
Got to be careful, man.
I'm trying. My big old floppy ass feet just don't do well on stairs. And the older I get, the weirder it gets. People that are out there right now, Chris, and maybe facing their own struggles, dealing with their own mortality right now.
Absolutely.
They just don't know where to dig that strength up, how to pull themselves back. What suggestion do you have for them?
Being in the hospital and putting everything aside and realizing, nothing matters anymore because I'm going to probably be dead in 2 weeks. I didn't freak out. I didn't get anxious. I said, I have to be in the present. Otherwise I'll go crazy. So I'm in the present and I didn't have any distractions. So I just said, I have to be present and blessed for every moment. So every moment I was blessed. And I go, thank you, God, not worthy to receive you. Just say the word, I shall be healed. And I said that like 20 times a day. So I was blessed with every moment. And the one way to be moment was every time somebody walked in, I looked at them, what's your name? And I got their name and I remembered their name. And every time they come in, I'd say their name. And I look what they were wearing. Oh, you got cool shoes. Oh, you got Vans on. Dude, you had Vans on yesterday. Why don't you have them on today? And I would just have these conversations with every nurse that walked in or doctor walked in. I said, wow, that's a beautiful dress you have. That's yellow. It's very bright. It's beautiful. She's like, oh, that's so nice. Because I should be giving you a compliment and you're giving me. I said, well, whatever. So I would do the opposite because I would see people in the hospital that were upset and, not doing well. I said, I'm not going to, that's not me, So that helped me get through it to not do it. And then the next thing is coming out. Okay, now reality hits. I got to try to do something. I got to do the music, create. So the thing is you create no matter what curveballs are thrown in life and hard, even if financially, whatever. Well, you can't focus on the financial thing unless you're out there doing a job. And if you can't find a job, then you got to go create. Go create something in the house. Go create something outside. You have to be productive. That's why you're here, is to create. Ants just, ants are workers. So are bees. They can't go, you know what? I'm not going to do anything today. No, you have to. No, I'm just going to sit here and do nothing. I'm going to watch you guys. Right? Okay, they're flying by. Look at you flying by. You know what I mean? there's existence. Their whole existence is that system. Our existence is to create, express, and contribute. So depression is sadness, no matter what's going on in the world, is not being able to do that. Real quickly, I mean, one of the greatest things I heard years ago was during, I forgot his name, but anyway, he was interviewing this guy that was in Auschwitz, and he was separated from his wife. And he knew every day they would get up, they go in a line, left or right, and they would change the lines. But one line, they were never seen again. So they were incinerated. The other line, they were put to work. So every day he realized that the people that were sick or sad or whatever put into a line, never seen again. So he, no matter how he felt, how hungry he was, he'd just be like, yep, like, like this. And he would live another day, another day. And he said, every day I was out there, no matter what I was doing, even though it was strenuous, it was tiring work and I wanted to pass out, I would look up in the sky and I'd see my wife. I'm going to see my wife again. I'm going to see my wife. And I'd imagine myself with her. So every day I saw that. And it got me going. And then when the Allies came and everything, and we were saved and everything, and I found out that my wife wasn't brought to that camp. She was somewhere else and she got away. And I was reunited with her. Just think if I gave up, she would have lost me and I never would have got to know, never would have got to see. So for me, it's like, I got to be here. I got to get this music. I got to know. I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to know. Right. So that's what I'm doing now is like, I don't care how tired I am. I can't, whatever. Like I told my sister, if I get any sicker or whatever, I'm selling my house. I'm moving in with you. We're going to build a studio in the barn and I'm going to keep doing music. And it just, I got to do something. Right. So that you take whatever you like, creative, express, and contribute, and you do it no matter everything else is stripped away. I'm in the hospital and I'm filling art orders. Had my buddy bring everything over. I bought a brand new printer for $99, had it delivered to the hospital, had the whole production set up. And the doctor's like, what are you doing? They says, well, this is good to see, but you got to be careful. I go, I know, I can do 1 or 2 a day and I'm doing it. And I was shipping out orders. Brad would take every week the big stack and go ship them. I have 200 orders that Dave brought in for me by telling people, I got to get them out. Well, can't you have some? No, I got no one to do them. They can't sign my name. They can't know what number edition it is. I'm not going to tell what people to do and expect it's going to get done. I have to do it. So I did it while I was sick because I knew that if I did that and I ignore the cancer and everything else, that it's going to get me through it. And that's what you do. The more you focus on it, you become it.
Powerful words, folks. And I hope you're paying attention. If you've just tuned into the show, you've missed any part of the program, you can always check it out right here on YouTube. You can go back, watch the entire episode. Every episode we do lives here in perpetuity. You can also subscribe to the audio version of the podcast and never miss another minute. You just do that by looking up Paranormal 60 wherever you listen to your very favorite podcast. Subscribe to it, rate and review it, and be kind. I'm old and sensitive, so we have about 7 minutes left together in this segment before we say goodbye temporarily. It's been exciting for me over the 20-year journey of doing this job to make some really good friends, you being one of them, and watching the different steps that you've made and taken to help others in spite of the issues and the injuries and the downfalls that you've faced. You keep moving. You just keep moving. And the angels keep, the spirits, the angels, the guides keep enforcing that for you.
I don't want to let them down.
How do people start to listen, Chris? How do they open that chasm so that they can get those motivational, because there's so many people that feel lonely and broken and lost and forgotten right now, and they don't know how to reconnect. How do they do that, buddy?
The very first thing is, like, in December, I was talking to my guys and they said, we want people to know they're not alone. Number one, they're not alone. The times they're going to be going through, which we're seeing and continue to see, is people are going to feel alone. And no, you're never, ever, ever alone. There are angels, there are other spirits out there, guides that know you, that have known you for a long time. Don't ever feel you're alone. And when you feel alone, go outside, go out with nature. Like, I just walked by my tree today. I said, well, you need water. I give water. I put my hand on them. I told them I love them and everything, the tree. And now we're finding out trees are conscious, they're sentient, and this and that. So it's remarkable. But you have to do that. And to understand that our guides and our angels are supporting us and they're pushing us and they're wanting us to go. So to have an experience, and if you don't know, that's perfectly okay. Accept it. Just be in that present moment for a minute and say, okay, I don't know. I'm surrender. If I get anxiety and freaked out about it, then I continue that. I become that. That becomes part of my experience. So I say, okay, no anxiety, nothing. I'm just going to be calm. I don't know, but I would like to know. Please send me a message or help me direct. But then the voice would say something like, well, okay, well, what do you want to do? Because to be in motion, you must have something. And if you don't know, you got to figure it out. You have to figure it out. What would I like to be doing? What could I be doing? What can I do? Start doing that. And as you're doing that, you're now in motion. Now, because you're in motion, as we know about particles, the law of observation, your emotion that is causing that to vibrate and create an act, which affects the environment, which is why we're here, because the creator has to experience through us. If we're not doing anything, you can't experience anything. But if you're doing something, the creator can experience something and has greater opportunity to connect with other energies to accomplish and complete just by that momentum. Then you have to project, which goes into electromagnetic field, the ether, and starts to attract and bring it to you. Show me a sign. For example, real quickly, I'll just say, when I hit my spirit talk, I'm like, Dad, I got myself so tired, but I want to do a great job. So I know how tired I am. So please allow you guys to give me energy and cheer me up or whatever. So I got to go to the bathroom. I always got to go to the bathroom before I speak. So I go race in the bathroom. I'm looking at the urinal. And if women don't know this, but there's usually a plastic thing at the bottom of the urinal that is a splash guard. Okay. Well, I looked down at the splash guard and I started laughing. It says SSS, the name of the company. I used to do the graphic design for my dad for SSS with their logo. So I'd have to create camera ready artwork for them to have items like that or pens or whatever printed. So I'm laughing because earlier that day I said, Dad, you want to give me a sign just to cheer me up. And I saw that as I'm peeing on it and I'm just laughing going, oh my God. I go, what a great sign. So I had this energy now from laughing. All right, let's do this presentation. And I walked in and I'm just like lifted and I had all the energy through the whole thing.
Now, I want to point something out and get your opinion on this because of signs. So many people are like, yeah, he put a pack of Lucky Strikes down for you to recognize. Yeah, he put down a urinal cake. It's not that he put the urinal guard in, but something made you aware of what you were doing, right?
Collective consciousness, yeah.
Right. So, because I know the one thing I always see from the cynical skeptic side is, oh yeah, he manipulated you to go to that bathroom so you would see that SSS. No, you were going to go in there. He just saw this opportunity and he's like, hey, son, take a look. Piss on that former employer of yours right now, right?
Absolutely. And that's why I chose, 515 for my music project, Collective. Because 515, I had when I was in Costa Rica. It says, remember this number. And then a sequence of numbers appeared. 515, as well as other things. That means that there are destinies and synchro-destinies within this reality. Collective means that there's a lot of things that are coming forward to allow me to do this. So that's why I chose 515 Collective. Very spiritual and universal and multiversal.
But 5150 means you're nuts. So you're
I know. Just number off. I know it's got that Van Halen thing in there too.
Very cool, buddy. I am so proud of you. I'm proud of the journey that you're on and that you continue walking and doing that journey. And I know it has not been easy.
No, it's not.
Especially with somebody who is as personable as you and wants to be out there.
My oxygen, I have to take hits of this throughout the day. So.
Why is there a weed logo on it? Is that
no, it's not.
That's not oxygen. That's a bong, Chris. That's a bong.
Hey man, how you doing? It's helium.
But in all honesty, buddy, really, I'm very proud of you, and I'm proud of the way that you're helping others feel not so alone in this journey too. So keep doing the good work. I can't wait to hear another song. And again, we have a link for Chris on today's program guide so that you can subscribe, get his music, go pre-order it right now. And again,
you can pre-order it.
I'll throw up the album cover. We've got it. It's the Boogeyman Blues album, 515 Collective. Go check it out. Pre-order the music right now and give it a listen. Chris, thank you, buddy.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. And I'm going to see you in a couple of weeks, my friend.
I look forward to it. And if you guys want to join us here at the Palmer House and be a part of that event, go check out darknessevents.com. That's darknessevents.com. You'll get all the information there and be able to keep up to date with all of the cool stuff that we're going to be doing and all of the great guests that I'll have here as well. Tonight's conversation reminds us that death may be the one mystery every one of us will eventually face. But for some people, the veil parts early. And once it does, life is never quite the same. So whether you believe the other side is waiting for us or whether these experiences just simply force us to confront how fragile and strange this existence really is. One thing becomes impossible to ignore. There's far more to this life than we understand. And I'm not ready to quit. How about you? Our thanks to Chris Fleming for sharing his experiences, his insights, and the darker corners of a journey few people ever truly come back from unchanged. Thanks for listening. And don't forget to hit subscribe, leave a 5-star rating, and write a review. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. And in today's comments, I'd love for you to chime in on your thoughts on today's program. How did you like the song? What did you think? Is there anything that you were able to take away from this? Because Chris will check these notes. Let him know that you're watching. Let him know that you're thinking of him. He'd love to see from you. So may the darkness of this world be just a little brighter with the information we share here each week on our Paranormal 60.
Did you know that radio just got a little extraterrestrial? That's right, Dave Schrader is back on radio with the Paranormal 360 every Sunday evening, 7 to 9 p.m. Central on WCCO AM 830, an Odyssey station. Just download the Odyssey app and look for the WCCO logo, follow the station, and listen live. That's the Paranormal 360 on WCCO AM 830, an Odyssey station.